up, folks? What is going on? And welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, a Happy Festivus, whatever holiday you celebrate, and we certainly appreciate you sticking with us and checking us out for our final episode of the year of our Lord, 2021. My name is Mike. I am the host of America's Hometown Horror, but as always, I am not alone in this endeavor into podcast adventuring, and I am joined, as always, by my esteemed co-hosts.
So esteemed.
So esteemed. See, I don't forget anymore. And that first esteemed co-host is sitting next to me, Kat. What's up?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, you know, I'm hanging in there. Ready for 21 to be over with, I think. Although 2022 looks like it might not be that much better as of right now.
We'll see.
Yeah, well,
I got my boost, so we'll see.
Yeah, you got the boost. You got that additional shot, huh?
Yeah.
How's your armpit feeling?
It sucks.
Yeah, I know. You haven't been feeling too good, but it seems like the worst is behind you, which is good.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking forward to getting mine next week. I'm sure going to feel like shit.
You will.
Anywho, the other esteemed co-host, the esteemed motherfucker that's sitting across from me is our buddy Andrew.
Hey-o. What's up? Go for it.
Go
for it.
Go for
Go
it.
Go for it.
Andrew in
What
the
is
house.
that?
Andrew in the
Go
house.
for it.
It's from Always
Oh my
Sunny.
God.
Go for it.
Okay.
I am a year older speaking.
Yes.
Yes. Happy
I am
belated.
in my Jerome Bettis year.
36.
I'm a
The big
36.
3-6.
The
Andrew,
bus. Don't call me the bus.
do you care to share with our listeners the fun adventure that we had on your birthday?
So you
We
look
spent a great time at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut.
Yep.
Did a little sports betting. We went down there on Sunday because my birthday is the day after Christ our Savior's birthday. So me and him have a little bit in
A
common.
little bit of a bond.
I mean, we're both handsome devils.
Yep.
And I'm going to hell for that. Yeah, we went to Mohegan. We spent the day. We bet on some football. Didn't go very well. I actually have never lost more money in my life. I've lost more money at the casino. I've never gotten my ass kicked to the level that I got my ass kicked this weekend. Usually, you get like one nice win, and then you ride that till it's gone, and then you're like doubling down on it. But this was just constant, like, it was as if I was just taking my money and throwing it in the trash, which is essentially what you're doing at the casino.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Honestly, I feel like the majority of our bets that we placed were over within the first 5 minutes of the game. I mean, we bet the Patriots straight up. They fucking got their asses kicked. That game should have been way more out of hand than it was. We all bet the Redskins, me, you, and Seth. That game was 21-0 5 minutes into the game, so that sucked. Thank God for the Raiders.
Thank God for the Raiders.
Speaking of Seth, hey Seth, if you hadn't picked the fucking Giants to cover against the Eagles, we would have won a $2,600 parlay between the four of us. That would have been very nice.
The other three in this party picked good.
Yeah,
picked good.
Me,
picked good.
me, Andrew, and Craig all picked
I'm not the
correct.
third, by the way.
No, me, Andrew, and Craig all picked the correct games. I picked the Rams. Craig picked the Raiders. You picked the Bengals. All three of them smashed and covered, and then the Giants. That's the pathetic New York Giants got their asses kicked in. Ugh, what could have been? Could have turned our whole day around. But then why
not take the Bucks at Carolina or like?
We also could have gotten drunk and blown all of that money. That's also would have a distinct possibility.
I would have taken that money and put it all down on like Jarrett Patterson to score a touchdown first because I kind of did that already anyway.
Definitely.
I was like, you know what? I like 5,001 odds.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm sure.
Because that's me, baby. I'm the underdog.
Yeah, you are the underdog.
Right.
You are the underdog. So, hey, we had a good time for Andrew's birthday. Happy belated birthday to you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
And, hey, just goes to show that, we're normal people outside of this podcast. So we do fun things.
We
and
are degenerates in every aspect of life.
Exactly. Guys, so it's about to be New Year's. Which gives me memories of the last time I think we tried to podcast on New Year's Eve, which was It Follows, and we ended up having to do a second take on that because we were all too drunk after going to Red Tea Garden.
2 years ago now.
2 years ago.
How
Unbelievable,
time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so 2021 is about to be over, as I mentioned, and 2022 is about to be upon us. If you'll allow me, can I give you a little bit of a preview of the slate of horror movies that we have on deck for the year of our Lord 2022?
I think the
You'll allow
listeners would love to hear it.
Okay, so here are some options. And then I'm going to ask you guys at the end which one that you are looking the most forward to.
Mine's going to be Scream.
Yep, I already know yours, and I have a feeling I know what yours is going to be, Andrew, but just some options, okay?
Yes.
Scream, the first one.
That's mine.
Also coming out next month, so we'll be covering that. And
Can't wait to see that.
Oh, stop it.
There's also a new movie coming out in the Texas Chainsaw franchise. It's just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it is a direct sequel to the original film that takes place 40 years or 50 years after the original one. And it is going to have an old man Leatherface, directed by the guy that did the Evil Dead remake and also Don't Breathe. That's coming exclusively to Netflix in 2022.
So do we know how old Leatherface was supposed to be in the first one?
So I think he was supposed to be like in his early 20s or late teens. So he's going to be in like his late 60s, early 70s, I think is what it's supposed to be.
I don't know how anybody that much of a lunatic would still be alive after 50 years. You'd think he would have like accidentally cut his leg off.
Well, it's like Michael Myers. He never dies.
So they've released limited information on this movie, but from what I've heard, the synopsis is that he has been essentially in hiding since the events of the first movie. And there's a group of teenagers that go into his town that essentially awaken him from his quote-unquote slumber, and madness ensues. Interesting concept for a sequel. I'll watch it because that guy makes awesome movies. Fede Alvarez.
Can I have a guess? So what probably happens is the teenagers go into the town and they start making fun of every local that lives there and making them feel like pieces of shit.
Probably.
Because that's usually how these things happen. Yep. And then they start having premarital sex all over the place. And then
doing drugs, drinking
Leatherface
alcohol.
comes out and goes, sinners! And he just starts chopping them up with his axe.
Yeah, very well
not
could
his
be.
axe.
His chainsaw. Guys, we also have a new Jordan Peele movie coming in 2022. That movie is called Nope. Just the word Nope. That's the title of it.
I feel like we saw that trailer.
It stars Daniel Kaluuya, who was the main character in Get Out.
Okay.
Stephen Yeun, who played Glenn in The Walking Dead. And somebody else pretty famous. I forget who. I don't have it in front of me. But that... anytime Jordan Peele releases a new horror movie, it's of note. So I'm excited to see where that one goes. There's been no plot details and no trailer released.
They should just call that movie Yup.
Yep.
I want to go see it.
Guys, we also have Halloween Ends, the sequel to Halloween and Halloween Kills.
Pass.
Gonna see it, but
limited
expectations.
Maybe.
I know. Well, we should probably cover it on the podcast. We also have the quote-unquote final film in the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World franchise coming called Jurassic World Dominion. So this is going to combine the original Jurassic Park trilogy with the Jurassic World trilogy. So in this movie, you have Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard from the Jurassic World movies, as well as the original actors from the first Jurassic Park movie. Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, Laura Dern.
That's pretty awesome.
Also B.D. Wong, who's been in the Jurassic World trilogy. So pretty much anybody that's been in a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie so far that's still alive is going to be in this. And this, of course, takes place not within the Jurassic Park theme parks or Jurassic World theme parks. This is after the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, where all of the dinosaurs have been released into, civilization. Interesting angle.
Can I suggest possibly a better name for this movie?
Sure.
Seeing as it's the last Jurassic Park movie.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't Jurassic Park, Extinction be a better name?
Jurassic Park Cretaceous period.
Well, if it said extinction,
Jurassic
it would
Park
end.
Ice Age.
You know what would be kind of cool is if, they kill all the humans and the dinosaurs are left, so the extinction is actually of the humans. And then they have a follow-up to that where it's like Planet of the Apes, but it's just raptors. You damn dirty raptors.
But I feel like they just want to always leave it open.
They will definitely leave this open.
In 10 years,
they're going to do another.
Somebody will want to revisit
60
Jurassic
years old,
Park.
we're going to be seeing Jurassic Park 37 with our walkers. Hey there.
Jurassic Park and Jurassic World are franchises, right? Or one franchise. And we're going to talk. I have some notes on this a little bit later when we get into the movie that we're talking about tonight. But I feel like we're going to be living in a time, at least for the next decade or so, where franchises are going to rule, which pretty cool in some aspects, but also depressing for independent movies or, big budget movies that aren't franchises.
Maybe have an original thought.
Maybe like this movie that we're going to talk about tonight. But anyway, I digress. Kat, we're also getting Hocus Pocus 2 exclusively to Disney+.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
That's a shame I don't have Disney Plus, so I can't watch that.
We should cover that. Just saying.
So we did one, that's enough.
No,
we're also getting a new movie from Robert Eggers, who has directed The Witch and The Lighthouse. That movie is called The Northman, and it is a supernatural tale about Vikings set hundreds of years ago. So
sign me up.
Color me intrigued.
I like how he names all of his movies starting with the.
I bet you there'll be an animal on the poster for it too. Probably some sort
like
of
every
animal.
Seinfeld episode is the.
Yeah. Actually, same with Sunny, right?
Guys, we're also getting a new, or actually most of them.
Most of
the
some
gang
of
does X, Y, Z.
The gang does.
But they also
then there's Charlie Gets Cancer.
Yeah,
Charlie
that's
Gets Cancer.
true.
We also watched one last night that's just called $100 Baby.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, never mind.
So
yeah,
they're not
right.
all like that. But
Friends
most of them are like that. Yeah,
The
Friends.
one where
$100 Baby. Is that the one where Charlie and Dee take
both take
steroids?
steroids.
Yes. We watched
And
that
Charlie
last
goes
night.
into the underground fight club. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't actually make. Well, anyways,
We
keep going.
digress.
Keep going. We don't need to keep.
We're also getting a new Evil Dead movie in 2022.
cool.
It's called Evil Dead Rise.
Ooh, maybe we can talk to Shauna with that one.
So I guess that is not supposed to be connected to the remake, but to the original franchise. So to
Can I
Evil
make a
Dead,
suggestion?
Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness.
So everyone's doing all these remakes, like, you know how like in the early 2000s they did like Alien versus Predator?
Mm-hmm.
Can we get something like that, like Evil Dead Rise Vader, and it's like Evil Dead universe versus like the Star Wars universe, and it's like zombies in Star Wars. Like,
Wow, that's a random pick.
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, let's get a little unique with these things instead of just doing the same old bullshit. Like, let's have Leatherface versus the fucking
That'd be
stupid
pretty
Scream
cool.
guy.
Like in like Mortal Kombat. That'd be kind of cool. Like Mortal Kombat, you can do all the scary like monsters now.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. If they
Let's
did a
tie in
movie.
some universes.
so.
If we're gonna be going all universe driven, why don't we tie them all in
Make
and
'em
get
cool.
something? Let's get
Make 'em
wild.
cool.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Andrew.
You just said $1 million idea on there.
I know. Copyright that. You have to include us in your payments if you come up with that idea. And definitely call us. We'll write a screenplay for you. Andrew, we're getting a new Hellraiser movie in 2022.
Really?
Yep. It is same thing, sequel to the original movie. Or the
Sequel
original.
to the original.
Yeah.
Who's making that?
David Bruckner, who did The Ritual, Southbound, that guy. Yep. I knew you'd be excited about that one.
Let's fucking go! Sorry.
Boom! You're all right. Andrew, we're also getting a movie that we saw a preview for before the movie we're going to talk about tonight that's called The Black Phone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen that preview a couple times now, and
know.
that movie
Yep.
already on the must-watch list.
So this is
Yeah.
written and directed by Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, I believe is the other guy's name, if I didn't fuck it up. This is the exact same writing and directing team that was behind Sinister, which
Yep.
I know is one of your favorite movies. This looks fantastic, and Ethan Hawke in it looks creepy as fuck.
Ethan Hawke like belongs in horror movies, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's done a good amount. He did The Purge. He's done Sinister.
Yep.
What was that? Daybreakers, the vampire movie that he did years ago.
he was
Underrated
in that.
movie. But yeah, I know he's a very good actor, and he's been in some pretty memorable horror movies.
He was also in. No, never mind.
Okay.
Wrong guy. Thinking of the wrong person.
Never mind.
We're also
that.
getting, because the Stephen King adaptations continue, we're also getting new movies based on Firestarter, which is going to have...
I think that was coming out this year. What is everything getting
COVID.
backed up?
COVID.
It's gone.
The,
At least it's not canceled.
The Firestarter remake is starring Zac Efron.
Ooh.
And we're also
He's a
getting
stud.
He's a stud. He's handsome. We're also getting a remake of Salem's Lot that is going to be produced by James Wan.
Cool, yay! Oh, I was hoping you would say James Wan at one point. Oh,
Salem's Lot is my favorite Stephen King novel. It is, I think, by far his scariest story, and I have faith in the fact that with James Wan at the helm, they will make this scary again.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
tells me that that's going to be an awesome movie.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
When?
Can't wait. I'm not sure. I don't have dates for any of these, so forgive me. I know Scream comes out in January. Texas Chainsaw is February. Nope is July. Jurassic World is definitely in the summer. Halloween Ends is definitely in October.
Halloween, yeah.
So is Hocus Pocus 2.
Yep, that makes sense.
Northman, I have no idea. Evil Dead Rise, no idea. Same with Hellraiser and the Black Phone.
But they said
I think Black
2022.
Phone
Black
is
Phone's
like
soon. I
That's-
think that's
yeah.
soon. I think they actually put in
Yeah.
there that it was like
February?
February 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. Salem's Lot, I have no idea. So
Ooh,
Black
is that
Phone,
for, like,
Black
Valentine's?
Phone, we're definitely covering that,
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
And then the last one, which I'm particularly interested in, is a movie called Prey, which is the new movie in the Predator series. This is a prequel. It takes place hundreds of years before the initial, 100 years before the initial Predator on Earth in America, with Native Americans hunting and being hunted by the initial predators
So
that
this
came
would
to
put it in
Earth.
like the 1870s,
Something like that,
or
around
1880s?
like Civil War time, maybe a little bit before.
Well, that would be more than. Oh yeah, no, that would make sense.
Yeah, so over 100 years ago, but basically like a period piece predator
That's
movie.
a good idea.
Interesting idea, right?
I like that idea because they're kind of one and the same.
I don't even want to say this out loud because I know it's going to make you mad. The only thing that makes me question this even a little bit, I'm definitely going to watch it. Prey is going to be exclusively to Hulu.
Something tells me it's going to be
Not
extremely.
as cool as it sounds.
What's the word? Oh, woke. For some reason.
We'll see. So, still holding strong that Scream is your most anticipated
Yeah,
release?
I think Scream, and then probably the Texas Chainsaw after that, and then probably the James Wan Salem's Lot. Those
Okay.
are my top 3 that I'm
Andrew?
looking forward to. And then Jordan Peele. I mean, that's a lot of good movies coming up.
A lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
I would say Black Phone, Nope,
Oh yeah, Black
and
Phone.
Hellraiser.
I would say, yeah, Hellraiser.
I can't even put him in a list. There's too many.
Yeah.
Like but Black Phone is definitely up there because I've seen that trailer a couple times. That's either 1 or 2, so it's probably the Hellraiser. But now you're saying James Wan's doing the same sauce. So now it's like, is that the number 1?
I think that's gonna be pretty.
I don't know. They're all. Most of those sound amazing, minus like Scream and that.
Oh my god!
And
But
Hocus
I've been
Pocus
looking
2.
forward to Scream so much.
This is tough for me because I honestly think might be Salem's Lot for me overall.
Well,
That's
I
your
would
favorite,
say-
Salem's
that's
Lot.
your favorite King book?
Yeah.
That never really got a proper adaptation.
I mean, you get the Toby Hooper miniseries from the was it early 80s, I think it was. I don't know. Whenever it came out, it was actually
that good?
pretty good.
Yeah.
That was the one with like the Nosferatu looking vampires. It was it was
Nosferatu.
decent. But then you get a terrible
Was Michael Moriarty in that? From Law and Order?
Maybe. I don't remember all the actors'
Michael
names.
Moriarty.
Then you get a terrible TV miniseries remake in like 2003 that had Rob Lowe playing the main character. No thanks.
Rob
no thanks.
Rob Lowe.
So yeah, I would say probably Salem's Lot for me. I'm also very excited for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think that's an awesome idea for a sequel but also that it's been done with Halloween. So
Something tells me that
I think
movie's gonna-
honestly,
I guarantee you that movie. I'm going to go on a hot take. That movie's going to suck.
and I think Black Phone is probably going to at the end of 2022 be one of my favorites.
That seems like one of the
I
more
know,
unique
it
ideas.
actually-
That's like one of the more original ideas that's coming
Also
out.
based on a
Yeah.
short story by Stephen King's son, Joe Hill.
Oh, that's
Oh.
even cooler then.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Well,
include that in my
well.
top.
Okay. Fair enough.
Top of the top to you.
Top of the top to ya.
Guys, anything else for 2022 that you guys are looking to expand on? Anything you want to do differently in the next year? Anything you want to accomplish? Anything you want
to expand upon my friendship with you two and be the best friends in the world.
Yeah, because we're the 3 best friends that anybody could have.
like the Wolf
Yeah,
Pack,
right?
Yeah, good connection to Bradley Cooper for tonight.
Yes.
What I would say is I think I would like to continue to grow as a show. I'd like to continue doing more haunted attraction stuff. And I would love to finally give people some merch if people were interested in that.
I think we can do merch this year.
think we can do that.
Merch is gonna happen.
We can do that.
We can
do that.
do some merch.
Well, our one subscriber needs something, so.
We get some
I'm
koozies.
joking.
I know.
Am I going to make fun of myself?
You're all right.
Yeah, probably.
You're all right. Okay. All right, guys, we ready to move on to our topic du jour,
Yes.
our movie of the night,
Let's-
which is yet again another 2021 movie release. Notice there I didn't say horror movie release.
Yeah, because it is not a horror movie.
Okay, we'll talk more
It's
about
Christmas
that.
time. We had to fill something.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I feel like this was.
It had the.
It's okay. Hold on, wait.
This movie had the potential to be horror-ish. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't.
Not at all.
Here's what I'll say. And this movie, by the way, is called Nightmare Alley, which is the latest offering from Guillermo del Toro.
Which sounds like a horror movie.
It's-
Nightmare Alley.
Yep. So we walked out of the movie theater last night, which, by the way, most crowded I've seen the movie theater in
Years.
months.
Okay,
or
so
maybe
years.
There was maybe 20 people in the theater we were at.
not even.
There was maybe 15 people in the movie.
So
we were
it was
at.
us 3.
There was the group of 4 in front of us. There was the 4 children.
They
behind us.
left. They left a half hour into the movie and didn't come back.
Yeah, because they probably just came there to be like, "Hey, Mom, we're going to the movies," and they got stoned in the parking lot.
They looked a little young to be in that movie.
Yeah,
and I was
they
like,
didn't
what are
seem
you
like the
doing
type.
here?
I'm like, "Do you guys know what you're seeing? Because you're going to be bored." Like,
Did
12
you
minutes
did you
into
walk
this
into the
movie.
wrong theater? You're supposed
They
to be seeing
might have walked
Spider-Man.
into the
Yeah.
wrong
Are you
theater.
supposed to be seeing The Matrix 4?
No, but I
then they're
mean-
like, "Yeah, I'm too young for that movie too," because
Yeah.
I don't even know what that
Yeah.
is.
I think I mean in like the lobby area.
No,
There
no,
was
just the
so
mall
many
in general.
slammed.
There was kids everywhere. I was
remember-
I miss there not being anybody.
I was just annoyed.
Yeah.
I was annoyed. I mean, hey, great for movie theaters. I'm happy to see that it was busy. But as a consumer of going to the movie theater, I was annoyed the second we pulled into the parking lot. I was like, Jesus Christ! I missed it when there was nobody here.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas break.
Yeah, I know. It's
All
Christmas
the kids
vacation.
are. All the kids are home.
Yeah.
They need something to do.
So my point being, so we walked out of the movie theater last night, and we were talking about whether or not this movie is even something that we should be covering on the podcast. I know you guys both feel very strongly about this. So I actually thought about this a lot today, and I was trying to think if this is the most non-horror movie we've covered, and I don't think it is. Here's some of the things that could be considered to be non-horror that we've covered. I went back through all of our episodes, okay? Mm-hmm. This is in order. Prisoners.
Wrong.
Black Mirror.
Wrong.
Hocus Pocus.
Right.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Right.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's also
Right.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Right.
No.
Maybe she
no.
has a point.
Pale Man, monsters,
One scene.
death.
There
One
are
scene.
monsters.
The fun?
There are
Yep.
a few
I mean, the
part-
cut-
There be monsters.
There'll be
but
monsters
the-
in the who.
The way that the cat, like the gore in that
Yeah, it's
alone?
very gory. It's very gory. Attack of the Pumpkin Bears, which I feel like doesn't count because it was a fun episode that we did.
I'm sorry.
Let's
I'm sorry,
let's
what?
cross that out. We did that. Remember the one we drank all the pumpkin beers? I called it Attack of the Pumpkin Bears.
okay.
That was just that
doesn't
we
count.
were
That's
drinking
right, so that
beer,
doesn't count.
talking about beer.
That's like
That
when we
doesn't count.
played Trivial
Doesn't
Pursuit.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah, that one I didn't.
I was like,
even
is that a
call.
real
Yeah.
movie? Attack of the
No,
Pumpkin
I was-
Bears? I want to watch
Okay,
that.
final one. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I feel like that's not a horror movie, but it's kind of it teeters on the line just because it's Ghostbusters.
See, I would say that this
It's
teeters on the line.
supernatural. This teeters on the line of.
No, I don't
I
think
don't know.
this
I
teeters
don't
on the line
consider
at
this a
all.
horror movie in any
Yeah,
way,
I
shape,
agree.
or form.
My point being that this is not the first movie where we've covered
Oh
where
no,
nothing
we always
supernatural
but we
happens
also
at all.
we also decided
spoiler
we
alert,
also
I
we
guess.
also went into this going. I thought that movie could have been very horror related. Turns out it wasn't as much as I thought it would be.
Right.
So we didn't know. It's a new movie coming out. We got to fill some time. Airwaves, the airwaves are just like wide open. We're like, put something in there.
Yeah.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in. But no, this movie had potential to be horror related.
It didn't need
It shows the horrifying nature of humans.
Right.
Correct.
But
Which
doesn't show-
same I would consider this like same thing, this, like the dark side of humanity, very much like Prisoners.
Don't say Prisoners.
Or
It's
Seven.
not even on a level as Prisoners.
No, I
No,
agree.
no.
I agree
I'm
with
saying
Andrew.
like the dark side of humanity. I'm not saying like level of quality. I think like
No, but I find
No.
those movies
Prisoner-
way more horrifying
Yes,
than this movie.
I
This
agree
movie
with Andrew.
affects
All right.
like this movie affects like maybe
one
three other people.
Yeah, I'm like one or two people tops.
okay. So
Four,
I have
maybe
some
four
counterpoints to
people.
that, but I respect your opinion.
Well, then maybe like actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, I guess. But 2 of those people, they're dying anyway.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. All right, so
Prisoners was
I
much
guess
more,
my point
yeah.
is this is way more of a psychological thriller, drama film, neo-noir. Absolutely. 100%. It is not a straightforward horror movie, but with that being said, I feel like with some of the content of this movie, some of the firepower behind this movie, as a horror fan, you may be intrigued to see this, as I was, as we all were, to varying degrees, I would say. And I would say it's still something that is worth covering on our end, and still something that, if you're a listener to the show, you should
Be
see.
covered, worth seeing.
Yeah.
I'd put it on like the
On
level
the
of like
streaming
a
service.
more depressing version of Water for Elephants.
I still haven't seen that.
Okay, yeah, I've been in
I
it.
really should though.
Yeah.
Have you seen Big Fish? I kind of think
I've
it's...
seen Big Fish.
Okay, well, I'll get into that with my
All right.
overall thoughts.
So I
when we
guess
get there.
before we go further into that, I wanted to establish that baseline. So Andrew, I'll start with you with your overall thoughts on Nightmare Alley. What you thought of it?
I mean, obviously, it was extremely well acted. It was like an all-star cast.
Mm-hmm.
Even like the side, like small character roles were played by great actors.
Yeah.
Like, see, this is one of those movies where I've only seen it once, and there was way too many people in it, the characters, so I can't remember their names. But basically, the tough guy for Richard Jenkins' character.
Holt McCallany, one of
yeah.
my favorite actors, the guy from Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Tench.
Bill Tench.
Bill Tench. That's all I know him from.
Mm-hmm. He's also in Fight Club. He was in
Fight Club?
He plays like one of the guys that's in Project Mayhem and Fight Club. What else was he big in? He was in a really good show on FX that was about 10 years ago called Lights Out. It was a boxing show, and he was the boxer. It was actually really good.
I remember that.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of other stuff, like small, minor character roles. So he's much more of a character
great,
actor,
though.
but he's very, very good.
He
You know
plays
who I
like
feel
the
like
same...
should have been in this movie was like Renee Russo. Like she should like
I could see that.
Kevin Costner, Renee Russo, maybe a little.
Costner's too busy doing Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's a really good show.
That's what I've heard too.
I
I've never
know.
watched it, but
I
Give it a
prefer
whirl.
Jellystone.
Jellystone. Mhm.
I like
Jellystone
picking a
National
Jellystone Park.
Okay,
What else?
Great idea, great concept for a movie. A little predictable. I feel like I'm not saying I could have written this, but I could have told you what was going to happen at the end. Would have been nice if it was a little bit different. Like I don't need like an M. Night Shyamalan twist to these types of movies because again, these are more to me period pieces.
Yeah.
Like this is time. What was it, like late 1800s?
No, this was
early 19.
This was at the outbreak of World War II. So
so it's 1941.
1939 at the beginning of 1941.
Might as well be the 1800s because the difference in time from now to then, which is, can we talk about that for a second? 80 years ago. Is that even the same planet? Where are these people living?
know.
It's
Yeah.
so wild how much it's changed.
But yeah, it is wild to look at. Yeah, to think that things were that fucked up like that little length of time ago, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you could literally kill anybody you want.
Get away with it?
And nobody knows.
Yeah.
When that happened, like 20 years ago, you couldn't do that. You're going to get caught at some point.
No.
40 years ago, 81, might get away with it. They might catch you. They'll catch you 20 years later when they find your sperm on some girl's jeans. But 1961
Probably not
to
getting caught.
1941,
No.
1941, I mean, that movie proves that you can just change. I'm just going to go join the circus.
Right.
Like, I murdered my dad.
Yeah.
Join the circus.
Yep.
Awesome movie. Little lacking in, like, Del Toro does a good job. I feel like he gets people to sign on to these movies, and that's why he gets all these A-list actors, just because
Yeah.
it's a Del Toro movie.
I have some info on that.
Because he brands it.
And also
Yeah.
to comment on what you were just saying before, one of the nitpicks of the movie that I had was the fact that it was a little bit too predictable for me. So
Too predictable, and I'm not that smart of a person, so the fact that this was predictable should say something. It's almost like he kind of mailed it in.
There was a lot of foreshadowing. I thought that very clearly he showed his hand for the plot.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with foreshadowing if the foreshadowing is like a coup, like it leads you somewhere else.
Yeah,
Like, that's
no,
not,
I agree with that, but I think it was a little bit too much. Was my point. So
it did come on a little strong. I have a slight conspiracy theory to this movie later on.
We'll get
but
to
we'll
that.
talk about that then.
So, Kat, I know Andrew just referred to this as an awesome movie. What are your thoughts? I know you are less on board the Nightmare Alley train than we are.
So I thought this was okay. It was all right. I feel like it's one of those movies where the trailer looked way better than the actual movie, which was kind of disappointing. But in the same sense, like, I kind of went in this blind. I didn't really do any research about what we were going to see beforehand, so I didn't really know what it was about going into it. I mean, you guys were saying, you're like, oh, it's like a Sin City maybe thing. I don't really know.
I don't recall ever saying that.
Not Sin City. Like, the way it was
neither did
shot.
Mike.
I mean, I don't remember. I feel
So
like I said that.
it's a neo noir film. It's
So
like Sin
when you
City.
say-
Sin City was like a noir film as well.
I'm like,
I
when you
believe the
say
word you're
noir-
looking for is Pinot.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like,
Pinot Noir,
when you
yeah.
say noir, I say Pinot. Like, I don't know, think of
I know.
movies.
I'm aware.
But I think it was okay. Bradley Cooper was great in it, as he is in all of his movies.
Ooh, baby.
Not
has a boner
as
for
good
Bradley
as he
Cooper.
is in other movies.
This
but
was
he
this was. I think this is actually one of his better performances.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
Okay,
no.
So what's a better
But-
Bradley Cooper role?
He was better-
Hangover,
he was-
Silver Linings Playbook,
So,
American
okay.
Hustle. I mean, there's so many like.
He was better in American
Yes!
Sniper, probably.
American Sniper. I mean, there's a
Was
lot
he in
of other
American
movies.
Hustle?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was the guy
movie
with
is
the
that?
fro with the curly hair.
That's the one with Christian Bale and Amy
Oh,
Adams
I didn't
and
see
Jennifer
that.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Oh
the
my
David
God.
O. Russell movie.
He's in so many other movies.
Yeah,
that are way better
I wasn't
than
that big of a
this.
fan of American Hustle, but he was good in it. The actors were all good in it, but I didn't think the movie was that great.
This will be a movie that he will not be remembered for.
I
At
think
all.
you are entirely
No.
wrong
Entirely
for that.
wrong, yeah.
I think this is going to be the movie
No.
that takes Bradley Cooper to the Leonardo DiCaprio level,
Are
where
you
he starts
kidding
doing
me?
these weird fucking movies where he plays more of like the villain.
Also, by the way, A Star Is Born. Maybe
Star
his
Is
most
Born?
famous
Yes,
role.
exactly.
So they were actually.
I didn't like that movie though. But that's okay.
I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but basically they're saying that this could be because he got essentially snubbed for all the Oscars he got nominated for A Star Is Born. They're saying this could be the role that gets him an Oscar for best actor.
I mean, it could.
He also was a producer. He was
very,
also one of the producers in this movie too.
So that
with
might
Del
give
Toro.
him a leg up. But
He was great in this, though. I thought
he was
phenomenal.
Good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, well, to further that, I liked how his character evolved through the movie. That kept me interested in it from the minute that he starts to the minute that he finishes. Like, I won't get into any spoiler alerts, but I mean, I liked the evolution of his character. I also liked seeing.
Did he evolve?
He turned into
did.
a
Or
better.
did he digress?
He turned into a better con man, but less of a human.
He turned into a bigger piece of shit than he started.
He kind of went in the same
linear
way as a book. So he kind of started out like slow action, and then he went up and he climaxed, and he went down, and it was like the descending, and then he
that's
went
amazing to hear from someone that doesn't even read books.
See, I know a lot of stuff. I just don't read books.
True.
So that's exactly what he did through his whole evolution as a character.
Yeah.
It was also fun to see Clay from Sons because
Yeah,
I didn't
Ron
even know
Perlman.
he was in it. And I was like,
let's
oh
not
my
call
God.
him Clay. He's Ron Perlman.
No, he's Clay.
He's bigger than Sons of
Hellboy.
Anarchy.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Right.
But
What
I
else?
also I'll finish my rant. I did see a lot of parallels to the kind of fairy tale element in a weird way that they had for Big Fish, because maybe it was just a circus element, but they had. I feel like almost Big Fish can be darker in the same sense as this
But it wasn't.
was.
No.
It's not.
I mean,
isn't. It's more of a
state your
heartfelt,
case.
sad,
I
dramatic
mean-
movie.
this Big Fish is
Besides-
1 billion times more optimistic than this movie is.
There is no optimism in this movie.
None.
No. Okay,
Where's the optimism?
It's not. No, I'm not saying it's a horror. Big Fish is not a horror movie, but it had a lot of the same elements. Even to the point where I was thinking of what's his face's wife. The drawing looked like
Toni
Bonham-
Collette? Xena?
No. The drawing
Princess
of sorry. Grendel's wife
Yes.
looked like what's her face?
Helena Bonham Carter.
Bonham Carter. And I was sitting there and I was like, she kind of did in a weird way, like as a subtle reference, but I don't think Guillermo del Toro would necessarily tie her in any way because that's more of a total like other universe.
What are we talking about?
I'm just saying. You don't think so?
I mean, while I respect-
Never
kind
popped
of.
in my brain.
It popped in my brain when I was
big,
watching
I almost
it.
said real Big Fish. Big Fish.
That's a
never
band.
No,
popped
she
in my
had the
mind
curly
watching
hair
the
and the, like her like profile kind of looked like her.
I see what you're
Just
saying. I see what you're saying.
But she also can look like whoever she wants to, depending. Whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, that I kind of had that weird fairy tale vibe when it came to the circus stuff because like he was chasing the girl. It was a very slow.
It was more like an Aesop's fable, like a cautionary tale, not necessarily a fairy tale.
Correct. Yes.
More
okay.
of a
yes, I agree.
dark.
I'm
A
glad you
dark
brought that up
fable.
because I actually had that written down that you had said that, and that I feel like that resonated with me. This
That
was
makes
very
more
much
sense.
a cautionary tale.
Yes.
And again, more foreshadowing. There's a scene where one of the characters is talking to Bradley Cooper's character, whose name is Stanton Carlisle, and she presents him with tarot cards, and it essentially lays out what the rest of the movie is going to entail, right?
Like, stop.
Yeah.
And he
Stop
doesn't
doing
listen.
what you're doing, and he does not listen. So it is very much a cautionary tale. I mean, I just this movie is incredibly dark, and it, like a lot of movies we talk about, does not give you very much faith in humanity at all with some of the things that they do. And to think that a lot of this did actually happen less than 100 years ago, some of the things they do to people, to animals, it's just insane. It's just fucking crazy to think about. But also, are carnivals and circuses like these like still a really popular thing? Like, if that's the case, like millennials, get the fuck to work. You cancel everything. Cancel fucking carnivals and cancel circuses.
No.
They're fucking terrible to people. They're terrible to animals. Fuck carnivals. Fuck circuses. Fuck them both.
I've never
Fuck
been
outta
to
here.
a carnival where there's a dude eating chicken.
Well,
obviously
that
that's
is
not
the
happening.
dark part.
But think about like
It's not
Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. You think they treat elephants and tigers and lions and whatever
Well,
the
and
fuck
that's the
else
whole
well?
Tiger King thing. I mean, they all
Tiger
went
King,
through
another
the
perfect
whole
example.
thing.
I mean, don't know. That's
but like local carnivals with the zipper and the tilt-a-whirl.
No,
and
I feel you. I understand that. But
I mean, that's so fun.
I hear you. I guess my point is
like
the
those.
exploitation of people and the exploitation of animals is something that I fucking can't stand and I have no use for. It's obviously not as egregious now as it would have been 100 years ago and is displayed prominently in this movie. But I have no use for them. But this movie is beautifully shot. It's gorgeous to look at. The aesthetic of this, Kat, you might have seen me play these games. I know you don't play very many video games. This reminded me a lot of like the BioShock game series.
Yes.
Very much Art Deco.
Yeah.
Very like gorgeous
Is it
aesthetic.
Art
Deco? Art Deco style.
Who is Art Deco?
Art Deco is Ben Deco's brother.
Art Vandelay.
Yeah, Art Vandelay. Yes. Yep.
Just kidding.
It's a period and
it was basically you probably know more about it than me, right?
okay, yeah. That's
It
okay.
came from the Decathlon period of time.
It's a period, like the Renaissance, Art Deco.
Yeah, and then I guess
Is Go involved in that? Or is he more a part of the Impressionist painting?
He was
I swear he was
Impressionism.
nearsighted.
That was a period.
It was.
Yep.
'Twas.
Impressionism.
Monet. Nene,
Monet,
tippy-tippy-tay. Tippy-tippy-tay.
Andrew also touched on this already, but I feel like it has to be repeated. This is just an absolute murderer's row of acting talent in this movie. It is incredibly well acted from Bradley Cooper all the way down to the small roles. There's a stat I found in here when I was looking this up earlier, just incredible. My man crush on Bradley Cooper is widely known, and he was fantastic. I'll just say that again because he's the fucking best. Cate Blanchett was awesome as Dr. Ritter. She was great.
I just hated looking at her.
I mean,
Sorry.
but she was just a great, like a villain that you loved.
She looks like the man in the mountain in New Hampshire. Jagged ass face. Like, who's cheating on Rooney Mara with that bitch? I'm sorry.
I did not think that Cate Blanchett looked bad at all in this movie.
Really? Nope. Oh my god, I felt like she looked
But I guess you like makeup.
I felt
Rooney Mara, no makeup needed. Classic beauty.
She was very good in this
I love
as well.
Rooney
Rooney
Mara.
Mara was also very good
One
in
of my
this.
crushes. She's
Also,
got that kind of that Audrey Hepburn.
I feel like
so
Kate,
was Willem Dafoe was great. David
He looked
Strathairn was
great.
great. Toni Collette was great. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I felt like Cate Blanchett looked like a Muppet.
Okay.
Kind of.
Cool.
Right?
Could
I
be
feel like
Muppet.
her
She
mouth
may
is
be
very
listening, and
big.
she may be. Are you shaming her?
Kind of.
I mean, I said she looked like the man in the mountain in New Hampshire. So what am I saying?
I say.
And anyway, I've always mentioned that. I already mentioned this. Excuse me, but anytime that Holt McCallany shows up, in this case playing Richard Jenkins' bodyguard, I am on board. And speaking of which, like, yo, Netflix, can we get some more fucking Mindhunter, please?
Not happening.
No, apparently not. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Not this time.
All right. So, one more question before we move on.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to we've covered a lot of movies in the show this year, and movies from this year, I mean. So, I guess if I had to, looking back on all of the movies that we've seen this year, would this rank anywhere near the top, anywhere near the bottom, anywhere in the middle for you guys for things that we've seen this year? Andrew, I'll start with you.
Not counting horror movies, I'd put this in my top 5 for just regular movies that came out. If that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
if it doesn't include horror
It's not a
movies, I
horror
guess
movie. It's
it-
like
it was
it
a
has
good
elements,
movie.
like you
Yeah.
said. I think it's one of those movies that I would usually watch. I wouldn't recommend going to the theater to see. You don't need to see it in a theater.
And not many people have, by the way.
And that's highly unnecessary. You can wait till it comes out on a streaming service, or you can rent it. It's a good movie to sit down, but it's long, and you're going to want to take some pee breaks in
Yeah.
between.
Oh,
So,
for sure. It's a very long.
I was crossing my legs at the end of this movie. I was like, whoop.
What about you? Towards the top, towards the bottom, in the middle?
I'd say I very much agree with Andrew that it's not a horror movie, so I would say it's. I mean, I would watch it again by myself at home at a second watch because I thought it was good enough for that.
I have this in my I think top 5. I would say, okay, questions.
Including horror movies?
For the movies that we've covered in the podcast this year, I mean,
Really?
Okay, so Spiral from the Book of Saw or Nightmare Alley?
Spiral.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, really.
are we doing horror movies, or what are we talking about?
In general.
Oh, movies we've seen?
Yeah.
Spiral. Done.
I still think Spiral's a better movie.
Yeah.
This movie,
Okay.
I had too many. I think my expectations were
I agree.
a little too high for
Yep.
this movie.
Last Night in Soho or Nightmare
Last
Alley?
Night in Soho, not even a question.
Yeah, I agree.
Antlers or
Antlers.
or Nightmare Alley?
I go with Antlers too.
Okay.
Yeah.
VHS 94 or Nightmare
VHS
Alley?
94.
I
Okay.
go with Nightmare Alley.
Malignant or Nightmare Alley.
Malignant.
I'm going to go with
Not
Nightmare
even-
Alley on that one.
Yeah,
What?
You didn't. Yeah, I know. You
Yeah,
didn't see it.
we're
we know,
not
yeah.
going to talk about
You
that.
didn't
We
see
get
it. The Fear Street trilogy or Nightmare Alley.
This Nightmare Alley.
I agree.
Fear Street
That's where the
trilogy.
line is about for me.
I'm gonna switch
Candyman.
Candyman.
Candyman. Yeah.
Quiet Place 2.
Quiet
this-
Place 2.
This is way better
This
than
Quiet
that.
Place 2
Oh,
smells.
come on, you guys.
I don't even think the first one was that good. so.
Conjuring 3 or this.
This.
Better. This is better.
Yeah, I guess I'll go Nightmare Alley for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. Kong. Not even going to do that.
Yep.
Obviously, this is better than Halloween Kills, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Halloween
okay.
smells.
So it falls probably somewhere in the middle for most of us. Okay, that's all I wanted to establish.
But
just
as
where
far
we are.
as non-horror movies, top 5 movie I've seen this year.
Yeah. What else have you seen other than this besides?
I've seen so much stuff I can't even remember.
I know. I'm like, you're asking him to remember a whole
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
of movies he's seen. That's
Dude,
so
half the time I'm
rude.
high or drunk.
Oh, it's so rude. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me? It's
so
not rude at all. I'm asking
How rude.
All right, so here's some trivia about the movie before we keep moving along here. So the movie is written and directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo.
It is based on a 1946 novel by a guy named William Lindsay Gresham. And it was also adapted into a film in 1947, which was of the same title, Nightmare Alley. Starred actors that I've never seen movies that they're in: Tyrone Power, Joan Blondell, Colleen Gray, and Helen Walker.
You've never heard of Helen Walker?
No, not really.
Something wrong with you.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Who it is?
Del Toro has gone on after this movie's been up to production and after it's been released to say that this is not a remake of the movie that came out in the 40s, but a readaptation of the original novel. This movie has been well received by the critics and lots of Oscar buzz, which I know we talked about this before. Lots of Oscar buzz for not only Guillermo del Toro in terms of like directing, and this might be nominated for Best Picture, but Bradley Cooper, Rooney Mara, Cate Blanchett, and Toni Collette are all getting like buzz for
They really
acting
did a
category.
fantastic job.
I would actually even argue William Dafoe too.
Yeah, he was
Willem Dafoe. Jesus, what a moron. However, this movie has had the misfortune of going up against Spider-Man No Way Home. And that movie has since become the first COVID film to earn over $1 billion at the box office, which is
Spider-Man,
insane.
I mean-
It is Spider-Man, huge character.
That doesn't mean the movie's good. Could be.
I'm sure it is good. And this is coming from a guy that wanted to see Spider-Man. But as of this recording, this movie is only made, and this seems incredibly low to me, but I looked it up. As of today, as of this recording, it's only made $5.6 million at the box office against a $60 million budget.
Yeah, you know why? Because you don't put movies up against stupid Marvel movies.
But I
What are
think
you, stupid? Why are they doing that? Why didn't they wait till January? They probably would have done better. Actually, they wouldn't have.
They would've gone out and screamed.
No one's going to see movies anymore.
No, but-
people are only going to see Marvel movies. The only reason the movie theater was packed last night was. What has The Matrix 4 done? I'm curious. I bet you it's done dog
know.
shit. You could look it up.
I could, but I don't
Wait.
have the wherewithal to do it.
I'll get
also,
Yeah.
to be fair, the name of this movie does not represent what this movie is.
Well, it's the title.
At all.
It's the title of the original book.
There's
in the
also, a
original
movie,
get
there's
that,
also a movie called
but-
The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which has nothing to do with that movie.
No, but I know
Quite a
what
bit.
that is about because I know
'Cause you've
enough.
seen it.
No, well, yes, but I also know about it before I go to see it. This is so obscure that like people are gonna be like, I don't know what this is necessarily.
It's really
about.
not that obscure. It's
I
a
feel
movie
like-
that's a remake that's directed by Guillermo del Toro with all of his acting talent. It's
Okay,
really not
except-
that obscure.
time
It's just
out.
a matter of people being interested enough to go see it in theaters.
I feel like The Boy in Striped Pajamas is something that you see like high school or something, or you know about it like at some point like in your life. But like so you know going into that what that's about.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, I had no idea what this was about. I didn't know it was based on a book. I didn't know it was based on whatever. Like Guillermo del Toro, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all great. But like I feel like it's the title of it is totally misleading to what it actually is.
Were those worldwide numbers?
I just Googled Nightmare Alley box office to date, and that's what came up.
So, Matrix Resurrections
Yeah,
is at 69 million worldwide.
that's insane.
So is this worldwide?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't know.
It's
But
probably, it's not a movie that, like, see, that's the problem with movies now, which this is what drives me insane, and that's probably why most movies we go to see suck. Because they're geared towards a stupid audience.
niche. Oh, not. I would say a
That-
niche audience, not a stupid audience.
These
They're
movies?
targeted
Yeah.
towards
No.
certain
These movies.
people.
I'm talking about Matrix Revelations and the Marvel movies
I
are
see,
geared
I
towards.
see.
And I'm not going to
Yeah.
dumb it down for some. No, these are the type of movies that should be made and should be put in theaters. Instead, we get riddled with this. It's just over CGI movies.
You are taking the words right out of my mouth.
We've been watching trailers of the new movies that we go see in movie theaters, and it's like the Marvel movies. It's like this one, that one, this one, this one. See how many are coming out in 2022? Because
yeah, but can you blame them? They're making billions
so much
of
money.
dollars off these movies. It just gives me no faith in humanity that people would rather see those stupid movies than a nice, wholesome, depressing movie like this. Can you pull it together?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
you guys kind of buried my lead here, but that definitely is. I feel like no, it's fine because it's the same point. But it's not to be the old man screaming at the clouds. This is very much indicative the budget comparison between this movie and like a movie like SpiderMan No Home. It's indicative of the overall problem I think with the movie industry today is that everything is a superhero movie or some sort of franchise. And again, as I mentioned, this is a guy that was very much interested in wanting to see Spider-Man No Way Home.
Maybe not.
There's too many superhero movies, though, and there's different movies like this that are not getting enough eyeballs. And just as exemplified at the movie theater that we went to, there were 3 showings of this movie all day. 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 10 o'clock?
And there was 15 people at ours?
And there were maybe 20 showings of Spider-Man throughout the day. And you have that fucking new animated Sing movie. That's out now, too. So
I would like to see that.
And again, I understand it's Christmas vacation, so kids are on vacation. It's very much a family film week. This is not going to make a ton of money. It's just not going to, which is depressing.
Here's the problem.
It should have. This is a movie that's become awards season.
Is a big
People are going to be like, oh, this sounds like it's pretty good, and it's getting nominated for all these awards. Maybe I should go see it. And that's when people are going to watch it.
It's going to be one of those.
But it won't be in theaters anymore.
Nope.
It'll be on the streaming network. Because the problem is that people want to watch a movie that they can stare at their phone for 50% of the time and still know what's going on.
And then pay attention.
Oh, yeah. Guess what? The Green Goblin, he's still gobbling Spider-Man's dick. But if you're watching this movie and you miss 10 to 15 minutes of it,
I see what you did there.
You have no idea what's going on.
That's why I didn't.
Actually, that's probably untrue. You probably still have a semblance going on because there's a lot of feeds.
This was not a very confusing movie. This was definitely like I feel like everything was
not confusing, but there was plenty
you had
of time.
to pay attention. You had to pay attention,
but you also could miss 10 to 15 minutes of time and not.
There were several times where I was like, I really should get up to go to the bathroom, but I was like, I
had to start pee. I had to pee 20 minutes into this movie.
I was like, I really don't want to miss anything. Though.
This movie did, for me personally, keep me on the edge of my seat, and I'm sure it did for you two as well, because I also had to pee, and I was like, I don't know if there's a good. I'm afraid I'm going to miss something. I don't know if it's a good opportunity to get up and take a leak.
So that's a great.
Right.
That shows what a great film.
That is a testament to the quality of the movie. I think, right?
Yeah, because if you're involved,
captured
now. Could you have missed parts of it? Sure. Did you want to? No.
You didn't want to miss any of it.
Pop quiz. Do you remember the name of the actor that plays Clay Morrow in Sons of Anarchy?
What?
Ron Perlman?
Ron Perlman. Oh. I was like, what?
So this is Ron Perlman's 7th collaboration with Del Toro.
3 Hellboys?
I don't know them all off the top of my head. I just had it down. This is his 7th one, but also he's there. I guess Del Toro is directing a Pinocchio movie next year.
Fun. I would love that.
See, now that's the type of movie that Del Toro will do that I want to watch because
it's animated.
What he could do with
Done. That's even better.
You think that's better?
It's fucking Pinocchio.
Yeah,
that's true.
Should be animated.
Okay.
What's better than the original
if it's not
animated
Pinocchio? That would be even weirder.
Did you ever hear that weird fan theory? Weird fan theory that Donkey from Shrek is actually one of the people from that island, Adventure Island.
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island in
I did
Pinocchio.
not hear that, no.
And that's how he's part of that universe.
Oh,
the talking donkey.
Interesting. I didn't know about that.
Listeners, I would say look it up if you're interested. That sounds extremely interesting. So hold on, let's hash this out here for a second.
Wait, that's from Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, yes.
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Pleasure Island.
Wait, no. Pinocchio is not from Peter Pan. That's from
Pleasure Island's
Pinocchio is from Pinocchio. Pleasure Island's from Pinocchio. They gather up all these children,
they all turn to
and
donkeys.
they take them to the island where they're playing pool, smoking butts, drinking beers.
I
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
I would have gone.
Looks like
I
fun.
thought for some reason it was in
So hold on a second. Let me think here. So Ron Perlman was in Hellboy 2, which is called The Golden Army. He was in Pacific Rim. That
was a Del Toro movie?
Yep. Did they make a Hellboy 3? They didn't.
He must have been in Pan's Labyrinth.
He was not. He was not in Pan's Labyrinth.
Who?
Ron Perlman.
No, he wasn't.
What other Del Toro movies are there?
Shit.
Shape of Water.
Glorious Bastards.
That's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway,
I'm
you
getting
can Google it, but this is Ron Perlman's 7th movie with Guillermo del Toro. Pinocchio will be their 8th collaboration, so they've actually been in 8 movies together.
Does it say who
Is he
he's
going to be
playing?
Geppetto? I was just going to say, is he
He
going to be
should
Geppetto?
not be Geppetto. Geppetto should be an old frail man.
It's
Well,
on.
he's kind of an old man.
It's on IMDb. I would suggest that our
look
listeners look it up.
What's the cast name?
Speaking of the number
Giuseppe.
8.
He should be Giuseppe.
Speaking of the number 8, there are 8 actors and actresses that have been nominated for Oscars starring in Nightmare Alley. Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara, Mary Steenburgen, and David Strathairn. 8 of them. So it just goes to show, as we said, this is just a murderer's row of acting talent. I think actually every single one of those people that I mentioned, nobody phoned it in. They were all great.
They were great.
All
It
fantastic.
had quite the cast.
Quite the cast.
Pete was my MVP.
Yeah, so he was good. I actually had him in for one of my categories as well. Also, fun fact, Richard Jenkins and Mary Steenburgen were a married couple in Step Brothers.
They should have been a married couple in this.
It would have been funny. It would have been a really funny callback. And last but not least, this is not the first time that Bradley Cooper has played a character that's in a freak show, as he played the lead role in the Broadway production of The Elephant Man, where he played the Elephant Man, also known as Joseph Merrick.
William Hurt,
awesome.
the original one?
William Hurt in the David Lynch movie, but Bradley Cooper portrayed that character in Broadway.
I didn't know that he was on Broadway. That's awesome.
Did not know that either until
Good
today.
for Bradley Cooper.
Guys, I really, there's no way to discuss this movie as being scary, correct?
No, not at all.
No.
It's scary in the fact that you can see how far humans will go to save themselves.
Or to make money, or to exploit people.
To do anything.
I think
The
it's just,
horror
it's bleak
the horror
and
is
depressing.
how bad we are as humans,
Correct.
as people, as animals.
Correct.
We don't belong here. We shouldn't be allowed to do anything because we suck.
Like, I think for me the most disturbing and scary, not even scary, but like disturbing and bothersome, depressing parts of the movie are revolving around the geeks that they keep in, like the way Willem Dafoe's character explains how they lure them in, and then what they do to them, and then how they use them to eat animals in front of crowds just to make a buck.
Well,
and then
even
when
that.
that one
See, I
that,
have
with
less
the
of a
one
problem with
with the
that.
head injury that's dying, and they just take him to a Salvation Army and leave him in an alley in the
That's
rain.
probably the
and,
nicest
like,
thing they did in the entire movie.
might
though.
have
But then
been, to be honest with you.
Also, they're conning people into thinking that they know what's going on with their life.
Also,
the entire
also
time,
horrific.
Which is terrible.
Also horrific. And it just goes to, like, I think this is a very good, and like a lot of this stuff I didn't know about, like mentalists or mediums. I'm sure a lot of this stuff is still very valid today. But
That's
like,
why I don't
if
bother.
you are enough of a genius to be able to memorize that code system and
That's a
read
big
people
code
like
system.
that,
Yeah.
you can make some serious money and con some people.
Look at
Absolutely.
John Edwards.
Well, they do that
Or
on,
like,
on South Park. They do a little parody of it. And
Yes,
they go,
He's a con
He's
artist.
like, so
He's a
you
huge
have this
con
on,
artist.
and you're like, I know that you have problems with whatever, and blah 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 blah. And
Yeah, and
Stan's
they
just
make
like,
I just thought it was also depressing too. Like they make a very big comparison, like the fact that Cate Blanchett's character, Dr. Ritter, is also a psychologist in this movie, and they're equally both as much of con artists
Because
as
at
the other ones.
that
Yeah.
point in time, the science and it
Yeah.
wasn't up to that
Yeah.
level. Like psychologists were at that point in time probably thought of as con artists.
But if you think about that in like a larger sense,
What?
think about like just like they're a bad. Think about how there are bad people in every profession out there. There's probably bad psychologists that have taken advantage of people like that in real life across time, like since the
Have you
profession
ever
was invented.
seen Nightbreed or Night the Clive Barker?
Oh yeah, that's Nightbreed. That's Nightbreed. Yeah.
The psychologist
Yeah.
is the serial killer, and that is played by. Remember who directed that movie?
Nope. Fuck who? Clive Barker.
pass.
He directed
That
it
movie's
as well.
called Possessor. Possessor.
Oh, Cronenberg. Oh,
It was David Cronenberg,
David Cronenberg
and David
movie.
Cronenberg plays the serial killer professor in that movie, the psychologist.
Very nice.
So it has happened in other movies,
Was there a scene that you guys found to be your favorite in this?
obviously.
Okay, what do you got?
So I have two favorite scenes.
Oh.
One is when they're doing the flashbacks.
I feel like you're gonna have my favorite things. As
And
well.
it's towards the ends of the movie, and it's Bradley Cooper's with his dad,
Oh, this was so cruel.
And he just basically tells him she doesn't fucking love you, rips his blanket off of him, opens up the window, and lets his sick dad just freeze to death.
I thought he said, I've always fucking hated you.
Well, he might have, it was something. I don't,
Yeah.
see, that's why I like subtitles, because I can't fucking
Right,
hear.
I know.
So I don't know what exactly he said, but it was something cruel and hurtful, and
hey, I'm going to open the window and let you fucking freeze
you
to death.
may hate your father, but
So
would you ever just open up the window in winter in 18 fucking
And he's already
74?
frail and
He's already
old
frail, and take the blanket
dying
and warm yourself up with it. That's one of my favorite scenes. And then the other favorite scene was the one where Bradley Cooper gives Pete the wood alcohol.
Yeah.
Or did he?
100%
Was it, well, he did.
Well, no,
was
no,
it
no.
intentional?
It was intentional
Right,
because they show.
We told
What's
him
his name?
beforehand.
Willem Dafoe explains the box system to him very in depth.
Right.
He runs up there and he clearly. I knew it as soon as he picked it out of the crate. I went. He picked the wood
Of
alcohol.
course.
Right.
That's in the
Yeah.
right. If I know that and I don't even live in this universe, he fucking knows that. Also, he killed his father.
Yep.
He was willing to do
Yep.
pretty much whatever for the self gratification of himself because he basically got shut eye, which is what Pete talks about. Don't get shut eye because that's where you get shut eye to the truth. Your eyes are shut to the facts that you don't know anything. You're just living in your own illusion or delusion.
See,
basically.
I also thought that was intentional, but I feel like the way it was shot, it was meant to be ambiguous, which I actually liked a little
I thought the way it was
bit
shot
more.
made it intentional.
Oh, see, I thought it was
Because
I
I
it was
thought
much
that
more
they
up
had
for
some faith in
interpretation.
the viewers knowing that if they had shown both boxes
Yeah,
and he had been like confused, like,
yeah.
and then he just grabs one. But as soon as he goes into the guy's bedroom and he puts the bottle down and he just picks up the book, his like all his notes and stuff, he's reading them already. He knows
Yeah.
that he's gonna drink this.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
didn't think about that, but I feel like the way, because obviously he, like Willem Dafoe clearly tells him, like, okay, like, red caps, good, blue caps, bad, or whatever, vice versa, like, you know, and so he knew that, but I don't know, I thought... it
For
was
someone that's that smart,
Yeah.
that was intentional.
I think so, too. I obviously think it was intentional, but I just thought it was meant, like, Del Toro left it to be ambiguous, but we disagree there. Kat,
So
what was your
mine's-
favorite part of the movie?
Kind of like a two-part. So when Molly is in the car saying that like she knows when she has enough electric current and she says to stop and whatever. Also tied to the part, which is my favorite scene.
Yep.
I'm just saying that's the part that's tied to my favorite scene.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Where Molly's being electrocuted in the new sense with Bradley Cooper's design and the whole thing. And then the cops come out and Bradley Cooper is going to the cop and telling him all of these things. And she's just like, wow, what is he talking about? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, I liked that whole tie in a weird way.
Yep.
It seemed very organic.
See, I had this as my favorite scene, too. I thought that was
sorry.
fantastic. No, it's okay. We can talk about it together.
Yes.
That's fine. But yeah, I just thought that, like, obviously he, like, you know, police show up to the carnival to bust them for using that geek
Yes.
for an illegal show at a carnival, and he uses his newfound skills that he basically has only learned a little bit, and it just goes to show, like, how much of a natural he was as his
Right.
character to be able to trick all those people. And everybody that works at the carnival is just watching him, like, in awe. being
Yeah.
Now,
like,
was this before
wow,
he
this is really
kills
good.
Pete or after?
This is
before.
no, this was
This
after
was
he killed
This
Pete.
was right after.
Because
when
he
knew
he
was his
asked-
time.
It was right after.
He
He
knew
asked-
this was the
Yes.
time to strike. This was
Yep.
his. It
Yeah.
was almost as if he orchestrated the whole
You see,
thing.
he
'Cause who
immediately-
called the
Well, and
cops?
that's-
He immediately asks Rooney Mara's character to leave with him right after
Yeah.
this happens to start his show.
Right.
Because who called the cops?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I didn't even
Well,
think of
I
that.
don't think he has a phone. I don't think anyone has.
I
mean,
think
maybe-
that
They're
guy.
payphones.
I
They're
think
payphones.
that guy
You think?
knows what's going on.
Do you think Bradley Cooper
Bradley
called
Cooper's
the cops?
Bradley Cooper is a sociopath, psychopathic genius.
Do
That's
you think
what
he
in this movie
called the cops?
could have.
That's an interesting
Maybe he
angle.
set it up
I
for
didn't even
himself
think of that.
because he was so calm when they came and asked, knew what to ask for. Where's the search
And
warrant?
knew where to go
Like,
and what
no-
to do when he's like, the cops are coming. I'm gonna take down the banners. I'm gonna throw the chicken in the thing, and I'm gonna do this, then whatever. And, like,
Well,
he
the other guy
knew-
told him to do that stuff, but
Well, I'm sure, but in the same sense.
he
like,
was just very ready for it, as
He
if
was.
he knew it was happening.
He also seems like he's very much presented as a character that performs under pressure.
Right.
As evidenced by also I didn't have this written down, but a great scene is when he's doing his mentalist act at that nightclub, and Cate Blanchett's character calls him out and has picked up on the code system that he has.
Oh, that was part of my other thing.
So, okay.
But that's okay. We can talk about it together.
Well, if we go back to the scene that we were talking about for 1 second, real quick, when the cops are coming and you hear the alarms and they're coming, and he starts beelining it for a brief second, you think that maybe he's getting found out for killing his father because he killed somebody.
That's what I thought initially.
That's what I thought initially.
Too, yeah.
And then how he turned it was interesting.
Yeah. I was going to say about Cate. So my favorite quote was one of the things that Cate Blanchett said that said, "How do you know there was a pistol in my bag?" And then he goes into how he did his... Then she's like, oh, so I'm your mark. And then explained how she was holding her hand and how she was holding the purse.
Clutch looked like it was heavy.
Exactly.
Yeah. I honestly thought... I didn't have this written down. Another one I didn't have written down. But the interactions in Dr. Ritter's office between Blanchett's character and Cooper's character, both like just awesome acting. The two of them together playing off each other. That was great. But I thought just the way that this movie built up, especially at the end. And I thought the second that Richard Jenkins' character was introduced into this film, the tension ratcheted up to a fucking 11. Immediately he shows up, take off this, take off that, take off your watch, remove your cigarettes, no lighters, this. We're hooking you up to a lie detector test in the fucking 40s. This guy's big time. I knew something dark was up with him right the fuck away. But when it reaches that climax, and again, I mean, we've been spoiling, but spoiler alert, the quote-unquote climax of the film where Stan is revealed to be a fraud when Ezra essentially goes to run and feels that she's a real person, Molly's character's a real person, and then Stan bashes his fucking nose into his face.
That was so aggressive.
Oh my God, that was
I'm just
gonna,
spoiler, that's my best death.
Yeah, so that was actually also my best death. But I don't know if you have a different one, but shout out to my boy Holt McCallany getting run the fuck over by the car twice. Him lifting his arm and his arm just falls in half. That was gross. Which, again, hey, Del Toro movie, this was gory. Very fucking gory.
This may be my second favorite Richard Jenkins movie.
Really?
The first one was Let the Right One In. I thought he was phenomenal.
That was
awesome. He played a very good role in that movie. He was awesome as the... But, yeah, I mean... He's awesome. The acting in this movie, you can't talk enough about.
Well, I mean, they hired a huge cast. I mean, the cast was amazing. And they clearly spent.
Right, they sure did. Speaking of the cast leads to characters. Favorite and least favorite. Let's go rapid fire here. Andrew.
Least favorite character.
Your favorite and your least favorite.
All right, my turn.
I'll go first if you'd like. I really loved for my favorites, Xena and Pete, the couple. Fantastic characters.
Yeah.
Awesome acting performances by both of them. We were talking about, Andrew, before how underrated David Strathairn is. He's good in everything. Toni Collette's fantastic in everything that she's in.
She's great.
And they were very, very likable together. Even though Pete was a horrendous drunk and, Xena's giving Bradley Cooper hand jobs in bathtubs. Doesn't seem like they have the most functional marriage, but both very likable characters.
I'm going to go with Bradley Cooper was my favorite character. And, shocker.
Absolute fucking slimeball. He was my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah. And, that's coming from a guy who has, again, a huge man crush on Bradley Cooper.
He's so nice to look at. I don't know.
Yeah, he's beautiful, but in this movie, he's a total slimeball.
Him and Willem Dafoe both suck.
God, yeah.
Cate Blanchett sucked.
She's a bitch, too.
I like her. I liked her way more than Bradley Cooper's character.
No way. I would have... Well, if we were going to do cast replacements, can I say
No,
that?
we're not doing replacements.
Not
we're just going to do some info. No.
Not at all?
Good.
No.
No.
All right, fine. She sucked. I thought that she was annoying, and she was my worst character.
Worst character. Okay, Andrew, favorite and least favorite.
Molly, favorite.
Okay.
Rooney Mara she was the straw that stirred the drink.
And you want to marry her too?
Not even that. No, but she was everything that was good in Bradley Cooper's character.
The most morally righteous character in the movie. Or maybe actually Ron Perlman or the little person that was Ron Perlman's best friend.
Perhaps, but I'm sure they've done some bad stuff in their life. They're carnies. she was raised by carnies, and they had such an affection for her because she seems like she is like just the good in everybody is her. She wanted to get out so many times, but yet she never left Bradley Cooper's character till it was way too late.
Right.
Like,
right.
she stood by him the whole time because he promised her everything.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper's the biggest piece of shit in this movie. His character
huge
is
piece
the worst.
of shit.
He kills Pete, who he essentially becomes, which I thought that was interesting. Like,
I think
he killed
that was,
him,
yeah.
and then the fact that he became him at the end, because I'm pretty sure if Pete didn't die, there's definitely a scene where Bradley Cooper's character is watching Pete get some alcohol from Willem Dafoe's character, and he says, "Your wife said no more."
I remember this.
And he gives him
Yeah.
Is he leading Pete to become his next geek?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, that would be so much
Because
more
Willem Dafoe.
depressing. That would be so
I
much
thought
more
the end of the
depressing.
movie would have been better if it was still Willem Dafoe, and he was the guy that turned Bradley Cooper into the geek. Like, after he
Interesting.
told him this whole time.
Well, so I think we talked about that after when we grabbed dinner after the movie last night. But I feel like that would have been Bradley. I mean, the character at the end of the movie wasn't fooling Bradley Cooper's character anyway.
Right.
But I feel like it would have been so much more obvious for the audience if it were coming from Willem Dafoe at the end of the movie.
It would have been.
It's
And
obvious
it was
anyway if
also
you're
the
paying
fact when
attention,
you
but-
watch the movie, like if you think about the movie in retrospect, Willem Dafoe is the biggest piece of shit in this movie. He has no empathy or care for any other human being but himself.
Yeah. You're
I mean, he
you're
really
probably
is.
right.
He's worse than Bradley Cooper's character, but to what extent?
Right.
Barely. They're both shitty.
All right, so let's talk some cast stuff real quick, because I think this is probably one of the more interesting things that I saw here, okay? So, obviously, you get Bradley Cooper, a big swinging dick in Hollywood right now. It's nominated for all kinds of Academy Awards to play the lead role of Stanton Carlisle. Stan Carlisle. You know who was originally attached to this movie to play that character? Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't even know that,
Oh,
but I
I
would have
would've
taken him
loved
100% because
that.
this is almost like Bradley Cooper's Shutter Island. That's
That's actually a great
Yeah.
comparison. That is a fantastic comparison. Well said, Andrew.
Leo would have
Well
been
said.
really cool. Though.
Leo would have nailed this role.
Yeah.
And so I actually
he would've
I
been
think DiCaprio
better.
might have been better.
Yeah. I
Oh,
agree.
DiCaprio.
He would've-
DiCaprio's a better actor than
Let's
Bradley
be real.
Cooper.
So
He
that's what I was
would've-
saying. This might be Bradley Cooper's movement towards more real, serious, like legitimately serious, depressing movies. Get ready for it. DiCaprio did the same thing. You got The Revenant, Shutter Island, Inception,
Leo,
which wasn't.
I feel like can transform a little bit easier.
I
than
think Bradley Cooper can do it too. He's got a bigger face, but he can still do it.
No, I think Leo can.
If that
Leo
means
can morph
anything.
roles a little bit easier than Bradley Cooper.
I think
can.
Bradley Cooper is
I
just
think they
capable
both,
as an actor.
they both are talented enough to do it.
I think they're both talented.
Cooper
I
can do
think
it.
that Leo is easier to shape.
If you had
shift into a
seen
different
no,
role.
because you're just going
Well,
based
who-
off facts. Because everyone used to think Leo DiCaprio was like just some like
no
cute guy, like
Heartthrob, yeah.
No.
Titanic,
Well,
and then he did The Aviator or whatever the stupid movie was called. Not The Aviator. Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, Catch Me If You Can's a good movie.
It
You're
is,
talking
but
about,
he was
No,
playing
there's
like a very just
Inception,
similar
Wolves of
role.
Wall
Once he
Street.
gets to Inception, Wolf of Wall Street, Shutter Island, that's when he
Yeah.
starts to become who he is. That Bradley Cooper hasn't done that yet, in my
Right.
opinion. And this could be his
See,
jumping off
I
point.
would argue that he's actually been underrated in a lot of the early
Actually,
movies in his career. Basketball Diaries.
Place
what's he-
Beyond the Pines. He's awesome in that.
That's
movie.
Bradley Cooper. You talking about Bradley Cooper? Or
I'm talking about
DiCaprio?
Bradley Cooper.
Oh,
DiCaprio
okay.
killed it. He's done. He's already on another level.
So I mean, I think Bradley Cooper. Obviously, he's in Wedding Crashers. That was his first major role, and he plays a total
He's working
douchebag
his
in that.
way
He's
up
a
the
villain.
ladder.
He's fantastic in The Hangover, the best character in the movie, probably other than Alan.
But let's get
but
to
then,
a serious
you get into
role.
like Place Beyond the Pines, American Sniper, American Hustle, Silver Linings Playbook.
I love that movie.
What else? And then, so we were talking about the swapping of DiCaprio with Bradley Cooper. So obviously Cooper stars in Nightmare Alley. Replaced
starting to get
DiCaprio.
into a little bit of
So there's a movie out now as well. It's again another indie movie, not an indie movie because it's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. So it's not an indie movie, but this movie's called Licorice Pizza, and it's again going to be nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. It's supposed to be a fantastic
Licorice
movie.
Pizza?
Licorice Pizza.
Interesting.
Yep, it's a coming of age romantic drama comedy movie, and Bradley Cooper took over the role that DiCaprio was supposed to play in that movie.
Interesting.
Which they're talking about. Bradley Cooper has less than 10 minutes of screen time, and he might get nominated for a Best Supporting Actor award, which
was
he'd be like the third actor in history to get nominated for an Academy Award with less than 10 minutes
You
of
know
screen
why?
time.
It's because DiCaprio's too busy fighting global warming while he rides around his personal
private
jets.
jet, yeah.
I kind of like how you just nicknamed Bradley Cooper Brad Coop.
Brad Coop.
Brad
Yeah.
Coops.
I kind of like
Coops.
it.
You know who was originally slated to play Molly Cahill, ahead of Rooney Mara? Give me a couple clues.
Yes.
Anne Hathaway.
Nope.
Let's
You're thinking too close to her.
too close to
Too
Rooney
close
Mara?
to a brunette pale girl. No.
it's not.
Not Anne Hathaway, no.
The other girl from Wedding Crashers, the redhead?
No, they're not all from Wedding Crashers.
No. Who's the hottest musician in the world right now? It's a female that's been in a bunch
Taylor
of movies.
Swift?
Nope.
If you say Demi
Who's
Lovato,
the... I don't know.
Lady Gaga.
Lady
and
Gaga?
Lady Gaga and Jennifer Lawrence. were
No, well,
considered for the
Lady
role.
Gaga and Bradley
Lady
Cooper
Gaga
again?
should have been the Cate Blanchett
They
role.
just
They
did the
both have
stars
jagged
more.
stone faces.
I guess. I mean, sure.
So Pete, the guy played by David Strathairn, you know who he was originally supposed to be played by?
Nobody, because that guy's a phenomenal actor.
He's great.
League of Their Own.
But it was Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon. Interesting. He's
more
been
of like
in
guy,
a few.
He's more of like
Del
he should be
Toro's
killing
things.
people.
Yeah, that would be a reserved role for him.
Wasn't
Not
he
as
in
much
The
of a
Iceman?
psychopath. He was the Iceman. Yeah,
He was the
He was
Iceman.
the Iceman. The Iceman. Hey, Iceman.
The Iceman. No, yeah, he shouldn't be someone that. He's a guy that's in strength. Like he could play the Bradley Cooper role if you.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're not Bradley Cooper.
Let's talk the ending of this movie really quick here, because this was my biggest nitpick. Is that, and we've talked about this a little bit, was that I thought that the ending was telegraphed very early on. I saw
liked that.
all of Stan's interactions with the geeks when they were or the one geek when he was in the cage and he was with them a lot. I thought that they spent a lot of time focusing on that relationship for it to not be meaningful. So I actually kind of saw that coming from a mile away. I also saw Dr. Ritter, Cate Blanchett, betraying Stan, but I thought the reasoning for it would be a little bit more twisty and mysterious than it actually ended up being. Turns out that just the time that he insulted her at his nightclub show, she held a grudge and was like, fuck
Which is
you, I'm
good
going to
for
ruin
her.
you.
I
Good
love
for her.
that. I love the fact
Yep.
that she did that.
Yeah.
More power to her.
And it turns out, by the way, so I mentioned this was based on a novel from the 40s and also made into a movie in the 40s. This is essentially the exact same plot
I was going to say, because
from the book.
It reads...
The exact same plot, like nothing changed. Like if you look up the plot synopsis for the book and the plot synopsis for this movie, it's the same.
So I'll go back to what I said earlier about the whole, action climax.
Book thing.
Yeah, falling action.
Falling action,
Whatever.
falling climax,
Yes.
bookie thing.
Same
Yep.
thing, though. With that whole thing that you just said. Like, it
Yeah.
reads, it's
Yeah.
a movie like a book. It's exactly like the book.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
Like-
it's a little bit more gruesome than the original
Is
movie
it?
or the book because, Del Toro. I mean, this movie was gory as fuck. Bradley Cooper gets his ear blown off. Richard Jenkins gets his nose punched into his skull.
I feel like if he had his
Holt
ear blown
McCallany
off,
gets
that's
run
not
over
as
twice
gory
by a
as if he
car.
has the bullet in his head. But I mean...
no.
they
Well,
show
it's-
they show a chicken getting his neck broken and
Eaten,
head bitten
yeah.
off and eaten. Like, this
What
is
I
pretty gross.
think might have made a better ending
What's that?
is if during the course of this movie we find out, because Molly doesn't know who her parents are. What if her parents are Xena and Pete, and she finds out while they're waiting in the car to do the ghost scene that Bradley Cooper actually killed her father, and then she feeds him wood alcohol, and he dies in the car. She gets out, walks down the alley, and that's why it's called Nightmare Alley, because that's the alley.
It just would make more sense if there
It'd
So
be a more
the thing that I
interesting
picked up
idea.
on, the reason it might have been called Nightmare Alley, or not the reason
Because
it
that's
was,
the
because
circus.
that was one of the terms that they used, that Willem Dafoe used to describe where you find the person that you turn into a geek.
Yeah.
Right.
Nightmare Alley, so that
Sure.
basically, so that again foreshadows the ending of the movie, right? But yeah, I just thought that I thought it was going to be a little bit more twisty of an ending, which I feel like we've been conditioned as a movie-going and TV viewing audience in 2021 that everything has to have a twist. And I feel like that shouldn't necessarily be the case. I don't know. I thought there would be more, but the more I've thought about it, that does not take away from the quality of the movie. It was a straightforward story that made sense, it progressed well, and it ended the way it ended. So that's my thought. All right, so I know we talked a lot about favorite scenes, and I feel like a lot of the favorite scenes might have tied in with some big deaths in the movie, but does anybody else have a kill in this movie that we haven't mentioned yet besides those big three that we've talked about? Between Richard Jenkins, Holt McCallany, and who was the other one? Fuck. What was the other big death?
Ezra?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one, yes.
Bradley Cooper's dad, that's a pretty fucked up death.
Yeah, that one's really fucked up. I know we talked about that a little bit already, but
that's one of the more realistic deaths in this movie. Like
being like, I hate you. I'm gonna make you freeze to death.
Yeah, and no one's there to do anything, and then you just burn him in the basement, and you leave, and you go bye, and I'm gonna go start a new life somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
All right, fair enough. That's a very good point. Is there any need for a sequel to this movie?
I don't think so.
Not.
I mean, I could see it. But then it would just be like Bradley Cooper's life rehashed.
Bradley Cooper's dead.
I mean, what is
at the end of this movie, right?
Does he go from the geek to like?
He might as well be dead because he's gonna be.
He's turned into a geek. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you could do is nothing because that's the end of the movie.
So
and it's over.
No sequel.
No sequel.
Yeah.
And not a haunted attraction, not even close.
Definitely not. I wasn't even going to bring that up.
attraction.
I think the new thing I'm going to do is if there's absolutely no way that a category works for a particular movie, I'm just not going to even mention it because there's no point in us saying, like, will it work? Nope. Okay, let's move on. Anyway, final thoughts on Nightmare Alley before we wrap things up.
I mean, I would say to stream it, not to really go to the movie theater to see it, but it was definitely worth a watch. I would watch it again, but I wouldn't necessarily be like, run to the movie theater to go see it.
Okay, Andrew?
It's a movie, as soon as it becomes available on any platform, I will rewatch it with subtitles because I feel like I missed a lot because there's a lot of mumbling and it's a movie and it's a lot.
You feel like this is a movie you could enjoy more on a rewatch?
Always
I think so
on a
too.
rewatch with subtitles.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the importance of subtitles. I know everyone likes to make fun of people. Oh, you can't hear anything. No, I like to know everything. And that's all I'm saying. I wouldn't go to the theaters. Don't waste your money. Not that you're spending that much money, but the popcorn's expensive. But watch this movie in the comfort of your own home. You can take bathroom breaks. You can put subtitles on.
It's like watching Titanic.
Not at all like watching Titanic.
You mean in terms of the length?
Yes.
Titanic's like 3 hours long.
No, it's like 2.5.
Okay.
This
Well,
was
movie was
over 2.
2.5.
It's like watching any Marvel movie.
Wait, so the showtime was at 5. And this is also in the movie theater.
The movie started at 5:23.
It ended at 8:35.
It was fucking long.
It was 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Very long.
That's
Long
not
movie.
that long of a movie.
was
Interstellar
long.
is way longer.
Way longer. Way longer. So I would say, if you want to wait for streaming, that's fine because it probably isn't too far off.
I'd
But at this
recommend
point, just because fucking Spider-Man comes out, don't forget that there are other movies like this out there, and broaden your horizons, people. Go see something else. But that's about all I have to say about that. It was a good movie. It was very good. It's going to you're going to hear more about it come awards season because everyone's going to be nominated for Academy Awards, and people be like, "Ooh, let's go watch this movie," and people are like, "Wow, this movie's really fucked up." And be like, "Yeah, well, we told you." Yeah. Anywho, I think that's about it for another episode of America's Hometown Horror. If you're interested in more of what we have to say and more of our ramblings on movies, horror-related pop culture, TV, etc., here's where you can find us on the following social media platforms. Or before social media, I'd say you can find us on our website, which is at ahhpod.com, apod.com. And you can also find us on YouTube and Facebook. Just go on there and search for America's Hometown Horror. You will find us. We're also on Twitter at Hometown Horror. And you can find us on Instagram, which is where we're the most active, at Hometown Horror Pod. You can also shoot us an email at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. And hey, you can find us on whatever podcast platform you're listening to right now. But pretty much anywhere out there, we're there. So my name is Mike. I've been the host of this episode of America's Hometown Horror. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
To you and yours, from all of us here at America's Hometown Horror. That would be me, Kat, and Andrew. Say goodbye to your listeners, folks.
Adios, muchachos, until 2022.
Love you guys. See you next year.
And good evening. Otis, would you care to say goodbye to the folks?
Ready to speak?
Nope, he's just gonna lay there. Sweet.
Says no.
Just gonna say Jesus.
Yeah,
Frank,
whenever
Jesus
whenever
Frank.
you want him to say something, he doesn't say.
Nope. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.